Okay, so why do we use they, them pronouns for River? I'm the parent of a 6-month-old who I'm raising with my partner and our platonic co-parent. We've chosen to use they, them pronouns for our baby because we're practicing gender-neutral parenting. Also known as gender-expansive parenting, this method doesn't assume that the sex your child is assigned at birth will be their gender identity later in life. So instead, you wait until they're at an appropriate age to have conversations about gender identity, and until then, you try to give them all the options. For us, that means giving River a variety of clothing and toys, and generally just not giving or taking things away based on gender, and it includes using they and them pronouns, which isn't something everybody chooses to do, but we find it helpful. Some people use all pronouns, some people use like she, they, he, they. We find it too confusing to switch back and forth all the time, and also using exclusively they, them allows people to meet River and just see them as River rather than making sort of an assumption about their gender. That also helps undo our own internal biases. Most people who practice this method find that the child develops a sense of gender identity around the ages 3 to 5, and so we expect that around that time River will start to have their own preferences about how they dress and what their pronouns might be. And by the time they're school age, they'll be able to just tell us how they'd like to navigate those kind of spaces, and then our job is to become their advocate. This is very different than raising River to be non-binary or trans. It's just letting that be an option. The folks we've talked to, the research we've done, the books we've read, there doesn't seem to be any long-term harm to a child who's raised this way, and only long-term benefit because they have all the options ahead of them. And if they identify with their gender assigned at birth, then that's great. But if they don't, we don't have to spend all this time backtracking all the expectations and ideas and pictures we took along the way. We chose this method for a variety of reasons, but one of them is because all three of us identify as queer and or trans, and we know the intimate struggle of having a label put on you, having to figure out how to get it off you, figuring out your own words, bringing those words to the people you love, and potentially facing rejection. Not all of us were welcomed with open arms by our families when we decided to come out. Our goal is to make sure that River does not have to go through that experience, and that they know that no matter how they identify, they have all the options ahead of them, and we will love them no matter what. We are so fortunate to have our friends and family supportive of this method, even if they don't always understand. Our doctor, our neighbors, our local school district, all of them are supportive around this process. And yeah, sometimes people assume River's gender, and that's okay. We allow that to happen because we don't have the energy to explain it to everyone. And also, that's just part of how River's going to figure out what feels right for them. And this method is not for everyone, and we don't pretend that it's perfect. But being a parent isn't about being perfect, it's about making the best choices you can based on your experience and your education, and then listening to your child and adapting based on their needs. If you want to learn more about this method, you're welcome to follow my page.
The Trantifa folks are not usually the kind that go, "That's fine." They usually have a bigger reaction. Maybe you've seen it on the internet. I heard this phrase recently. Sometimes a problem occurs when education surpasses intelligence, meaning that it takes a certain amount of intelligence to reach a certain level of education in academia, or really any education. And the problem is that these strivers, the folks that really, really want to be ahead in society and go to the schools and learn all the things, sometimes they're not smart enough to do that.